much did they first pay you to give up on your dreams?
It's not about who you are, it's about who I am.
Fantasies have to be unrealistic.
I see guys who work at the same company for their entire life. They clock in, they clock out, and they never have a moment of happiness.
Desire supports crazy fantasy.
When were you going to stop and come back and do what makes you happy?
The only way that we can measure the significance of our own lives is by valuing the lives of others.
You have an opportunity. This is a rebirth. Life's better with company.
What is it that you fantasize about?
How much did they first pay you to give up on your dream?
Yes. It's the one and only Africa Allah, and you are tuned in to season 29 of Being Africa Allah right here on Discover Music Channel by Playmaster.today. And of course, I have my beloved.
Yes, sir. DJ Trill, what did it do?
Well, I was waiting for you to give your name. Anyway.
Oh, damn. That was too long of an intro for you?
You took a while.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But, you know what's interesting?
What's that?
Me and DJ Trill will be celebrating our 1-year anniversary.
Woohoo!
And in celebrating our 1-year anniversary,
we're doing nothing but working.
But I don't know. That speaks nothing for me, right? Because that speaks volumes for you and what you think of our 1-year anniversary. But
I'm
in any
just
event,
messing.
Well, whatever you do, they just don't take me to no fetish show no more.
Yeah, that's where we're going.
So we are at year 1 of our marriage, and they said that year 1 is the hardest year, right? The first 2 years usually are the hardest. I can attest.
It was hard.
It was hard because you don't communicate.
I communicate.
I didn't want to worry you. That is not you do not have the right to decide what is going to worry me. This is the reason why people cheat, because they feel like, oh, I didn't want you to feel bad, or no.
How you gonna put the cheating? Part into this?
That is the reason why people cheat. I'm not saying that that's what you're doing.
We don't got to worry about that.
I'm just saying that people making assumptions for other people are often how people lose communication or connection in their relationship, because failure to communicate means failure to connect. Failure to connect creates
problems,
creates trust issues, which then elevates into other things, dishonesty in other places. And while you feel that you are doing that person a service, you are actually doing them a disservice.
Okay, so, well, let's get to the matter at hand.
Well, now you want to rush me. So we got a couple of things on the plate, right?
First thing on the plate.
Wait, hold on. This is an election year.
Yes.
And the election is coming up
November 4th.
November 4th, almost a month away from now. And we really have to start thinking about, like, we have less than 30 days to get our shit together.
We're going to need more than shit.
The things that are happening on the election trail are disheartening, to say the least. Conversations. I mean, first of all, in the Republican administration or the Republican Party, their front runner continues to just
grab him by the pussy.
He does not display the decorum necessary for a leader. And his running partner is, I mean, they might as well be one peas in a pod. But this constant mockery of the Democratic front runner and her level of intelligence speaks to so much more. You know, the fact that he said Biden lost his mind, she just never had it. Like, He might have lost it while he was in the whatever, but she just never had it. She doesn't have the mental capacity. And that
Like
speaks
Like he got the mental capacity.
yeah, but you have to think about it. Like that speaks to his character, because he feels that, and he feels that women don't have they don't have the mental capacity to do these things. And what makes it even worse is that she is a woman of mixed culture.
Yeah, that's true.
So not only is he attacking her as a female, he's attacking her as a person of color. And when we say person of color, that does not just mean black. I need people to understand that.
Yeah, all the colors
So
under the spectrum.
while they're the only people that change multiple colors. But anyway, let's not.
Especially the
I digress. We're not going to get into that. That's not what we're here for. We're not here to get distracted. We got a couple topics. We're going to get at it. All right.
All right, let's get on to the topic with the port.
What made you think that was the first thing I wanted to go with? Now,
I'm jumping on it because
since you talked about it, let's get to it.
let's get to it.
Well, the United States port strike, the 2024 United States port strike is a labor strike involving 45,000 port workers who are part of the International Longshoremen's Association, impacting 36 ports across the United States, primarily along the East Coast and the Gulf Coast. What does that mean? What does that mean, darling?
That means that's the ports from Maine all the way down to Florida, over to the Gulf of Mexico, like Tampa and all that.
I don't think you understand the seriousness of this. Like I understand, those ports, right? What does this mean for the average man? That
This
means
affecting all
anything
the
from
food.
shoes to alcohol, these products will be impacted.
Shoes, alcohol, your beloved electronics from Asia, bananas,
Any fruit, citrus, anything. All of the foods,
except the oranges, because you know the oranges come from here.
Okay. Well, you can see how expensive oranges can be to eat next week.
Oh yeah. Oh, let's see how much that water gonna be.
Let's reframe this, right?
Yeah.
The United States worker strike has impacts from Maine to Texas. It began Tuesday. Today, we're recording on Tuesday, so it began October 1st, Tuesday, posing a major threat to the supply chain that could impact Americans' ability to produce, including shoes, car parts, alcohol, and certain foods. The strike with the International Longshoremen Association, abbreviation ILA, President Harold Daggett warns that this strike could cripple the nation's economy. And it arose from the contract negotiation dispute over wages and other issues between dock workers and the United States Maritime Alliance. The 36 ports have ceased working to strike bearing shipping operations, and that will result in a $5 billion per day revenue loss, according to analysts by J.P. Morgan. So I don't know if you understand that, but imagine restaurants, cruise ships, hotels, all these places that you go for luxury, right? They are going to feel the pinch as a result because their suppliers will not be able to get their containers in. Any containers that came in on October 1st.
Before October 1st.
No. Any containers that came in on October 1st were not cleared and will not be cleared. Will not be docked, they will not be unloaded. There's nobody dealing with that. There's no crane pulling that off. So right now, companies, food stores, retail suppliers, car parts, right now, what inventory they had prior to October 1st is what they are selling. If in the event that this strike goes more than 72 hours,
We
it
in
will
trouble.
it will be
Shortage.
devastation. We already seeing we already seeing the beginning of it in South Florida and other places around, and other places in the south, in the eastern region, where shelves are bare of the main necessity, which is water. As soon as they pack it, it's gone. So whatever they're packing, whatever pallets they have in the back, they're bringing it out. And remember, the stuff that is being sold is only the stuff that arrived prior to October 1st. Anything that arrived after October 1st is sitting on the ports in those 36 port areas and will not be transported to any of those venues because somebody from the ports has to clear that shit.
That's where the longshoremen come in at.
But that's why I said, like, they on strike. They like, babe, we ain't doing it.
Yeah, for a $30 raise.
Yeah, but they deserve a $30 raise. They worked throughout the pandemic and lost thousands of their workers.
Yeah.
They sat in waters. They sat in waters for more than 48 to 72 hours.
They need it.
Holding food during the pandemic.
They
Like,
need it.
I don't think people understand the cost of operation and the amount of liabilities that they face when they're working. So, yes. So what? A $30. Think about it. A $30 increase versus a $30 increase versus
The 2.5% increase in pay.
versus $5 billion in lost revenue a day.
That's gonna wake somebody's eyes up.
Listen,
And they already told Biden not to get into it either.
a $5 billion a day revenue loss versus $30, a $30 increase. Now, granted, we playing hardball, so maybe they'll have a soft spot at a $20 increase, right? But the reality is they have us by the pum pum. I'm telling you that. They got us by the balls. Because, babe, in less than 72 hours, we're going to turn into dire straits. Whatever food is available, of course, it's gonna impact inflation. And the problem about inflation is every time it go up, they never go back down.
That's true.
So my water already gone up a whole fucking $1. My water already went up $1, right?
Yeah.
The water that I drink, like, when I go in the store and I see the price, I say, and I just finished rowing the other day that the broccoli going up 10 cents. Everything going up, except for our paychecks. Everything going up except for the paycheck.
Don't mind me. Please don't remind me about that.
So I don't know what y'all plan on doing, but I didn't tell y'all.
They're going to have to figure it out.
Right? What I can tell y'all is that those of you that are listening, please tell your friends and family. I mean, by the time you hear this now, it's going to be too late. But
No, it ain't. It's on the beginning part of it. So
please, yeah, but like I said, the first 72 hours, after 72 hours, it becomes dire straight. We already have communities on the eastern seacoast that
got demolished.
no, not even that. Yes, they got demolished, but already live in food deserts.
Oh yeah.
So like, let's not even talk about like the last few weeks or the last few Yeah, the last few weeks of September played out like the rapture. Like it was destruction. Entire cities have been decimated by the hurricane and the flooding. Um, the type of weather, I've never seen a hurricane get stronger over land.
That's funny.
It did not break up. It intensified, and it demolished entire cities and communities, as well as it decimated the bridge that connects South Carolina and Tennessee. There are entire communities that are desolate, that have no Wi-Fi, no way of communication, no radio, nothing. And now the ports are closed. So there's no way for them to get there's no way for them to get food. This is devastating.
This is becoming a beginning part of the Hunger Games.
Well, y'all gonna have to start sipping that water slow. I told my husband, I say we gonna have to we gonna have to go down to 4 bottles of water a day. He said 3.
She started stuttering. She can't take 3.
I was like 3. I was like, it was a reach for me to say 4. Now that's 4 times 2, so that's 8. So I mean we have to go down to 6 bottles of water a day. I drink that way. I drink that at night.
Yeah.
I just drink 6 bottles of water between my sleeping sleeping
Sleeping
dinner.
and jumping up.
Yeah, sleeping and waking up. So I can't imagine what this is gonna be hard. Water is like gold right now.
Well, you in trouble. We might as well back down to 2.
And God help you, if you are living check to check and you have to go to the food store when you get money, or you live in tip to tip and you have to go to the food store when you have money. The food cost today is not going to be the same food cost tomorrow. I could tell you that.
Yeah, chicken gonna go up by $10.
Well, we didn't know if it was real in the first place. So if if you're eating it now, you know for sure it ain't real because they can't get it.
They can't get a chicken.
Whatever you buying in the store, in the next 3 days, bye-bye. That ain't real. That one ain't real. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. That's hilarious. All right. So I think this goes to say that this is a historic strike underway at U.S. ports, and impacts a global supply chain could be huge, because I had to call my friends and family in the Bahamas and tell them that this was happening, and they was like, "Oh, so what that mean?" And I said, "The Bahamas depends on imports. They just in the longshore's conversation online, the president states that the East Coast, the Gulf, and now the ports in the Bahamas are which they have control of. So guess what? Boy, things are ready. Milk already $12 in the Bahamas. I know what y'all gonna do. Y'all better go. Put your fishing line out and go find one farm and pick your fruit, because this can be long.
Yeah, it is.
This can be long. This is a major impact. This is a major impact not only to the eastern coastline of the U.S. and the Gulf, but also to parts of the Caribbean that rely on those ports to import their food. So, I advise you guys to stop paying so much attention to Trump and Diddy and start paying attention to the other news that deals with the world economy.
Yeah, please leave the baby oil alone.
In saying that, let's go into Trump.
Oh Lord.
Trump said something that was alarming.
What do you say now?
He said that one nasty day of policing would solve crime.
So he's amping up the police now, giving them the right to do whatever they want. You see what happened to that little boy who got hung.
No, tell me the story.
The boy got hung, I want to say in Tennessee or something like that. He got lynched, and the police is covering it up.
Oh yeah, I do remember that story. Right, yes.
So that is literally what Trump is trying to get at.
So let me tell you this. This happened on September 30th, right? Donald Trump calls for a really violent day compared to the purge. And he compared it to the purge. He said, we need a really violent day of crime. Republican candidate and frontrunner has called for one really violent day to crack down on shoplifting during comparison.
Shoplifting?
Listen,
For real?
anyway,
Shoplifting?
during comparisons to the purge. Oh my God, I can't.
He need to start watching
and
TV
then,
shows.
what he said, the croissant in the 1930s Germany, right?
He need to start watching TV shows.
The Purge is a franchise in which one day every year all crimes are legal. Kristallnacht, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Kristallnacht, whatever, was a series of Nazi orchestrated mob attacks against. Oh wow, this is wild.
Mob attacks?
No. Listen to what I'm saying though. Listen to this. Listen to what I'm saying. Was a series of Nazi orchestrated mob attacks against Jewish people and businesses in 1938. So this is a person, let me tell you guys this, right? We are fighting for our lives in America. We are fighting for our lives in America. And when I say this, like someone made a joke when I said, oh, the ports are closed, blah, blah, blah. And they said, oh, Trump is going to use that to his advantage. Stop being fucking dumb. We are at war for our lives in America right now. We have to understand. I don't care if you don't like Harris. I don't care if you don't like the Democratic front runners for the 2024 election. In less than 30 days, our entire lives can change. We can go from free men to free slaves. Because they are trying to eradicate every single doctrine that makes our lives valuable in America. They're taking away women's rights. They're taking away, they're rewriting or redefining
Black history
and the laws that govern people of color. And again, you don't have to be black to be affected by this. That's what I need people to understand. You do not have to be black to be affected by these changes.
But they're not seeing the extra point about that. They always looking at money issues. Money. And you know Trump is not throwing money this time if he get elected.
Well, he wasn't throwing money before. Those checks that we got
Was in place already.
Those checks that we got were provisions that were made by the Democrats and their senates.
Yeah.
That wasn't a Trump thing. He only got credit for it because he was the president.
That's the only reason why.
That was a part of that quote unquote thing that they was fighting against, the quote unquote socialism that the Republicans were fighting against, but yet he got credit for that little $1,200. So if you feel like that $1,200 is worth your soul and your life, then go ahead then. But I'm gonna tell you now like this. The fact that he feels, the fact that he is referencing the purge and this Nazi orchestrated mob attacks against people of color,
we in trouble.
I need y'all to listen to the words.
They're
You
not
don't even
listening.
have to hear, you don't even have to know who's saying this. When you hear the words and you put them into context and you put them in context and you understand the history behind these things, how can you in good conscience even utter the thought of voting for someone like that?
Let alone he got how many counts? 37 accounts? 37 counts of fraud or whatever that he got convicted of.
But if he was a black man or a person of color,
He'll be under the jail.
he would be under the jail.
And then they'll be screaming, "Oh, he can't run again."
And now, let's not even forget, right? While all of this is happening, his black friend that he used to party with and help facilitate the growth of his modeling agency where he brought in young girls from around the world is also under investigation, and his name is coming up in places. His face is popping up in old videos and old photos. You think he left at 12 o'clock? Anyway, so
No, he didn't.
what the hell is going on? He said we have to let the police do their job.
How you gonna let the police do their
And
job
the
and they didn't do it?
And what is more sickening is that the crowd cheered for this shit. And if they have to be extraordinarily rough, the crowd gets louder. They're cheering even louder. And you know the funny thing with all of that stuff, look at department stores. Same thing. They walk into it. You see these guys walking out with air conditioners, with refrigerators on their back. The craziest thing. And the police aren't allowed to do their jobs. They're told that if you do anything, you're going to lose your pension. You're going to lose your family, your house, your car. This is the speech that he gave. I want you to hear. I want you to understand the way that he's inciting these crowds, and they are eating it up and spitting it back. This is not freedom of speech. This is hate. This is hate speech here. If you had one day, like a real rough, nasty day,
We in trouble.
one rough hour, I mean a really rough hour, the word would get out and it will end immediately. End immediately. You know it will end immediately. Trump campaign spokesperson Steve told Newsweek that Trump's remarks reinforce his position as a law and order candidate.
That is not law and order. That's called dictatorship.
Trump has always been a law and order president.
A dictatorship.
And he continues to reiterate the importance of enforcing existing laws.
If he's reiterating that, don't he supposed to be in jail if he want to reinforce his laws?
Otherwise, it's all out anarchy, which is what the Democratic frontrunner Kamala Harris has created in some of these communities across America, especially during her time as a California Attorney General, when she emboldened criminals. That's what he said.
That's funny.
I need you guys to be mindful Stop being distracted by everything else that is going on. And even if you are distracted, start connecting the dots and seeing where all of these things connect, right? Like in any event, the people you these are not the type of people that you want to lead your country. Not these type of ideals and ideologies. This is not it. Regardless of what I'm this is my fear, right? My biggest fear is that November 4th, the elections happen, Trump wins.
And then we go into Hunger Games.
Reproductive women's rights are taken away. Women's rights are taken away. Right, that women's rights are taken away. Other civil rights are taken away. They demolish or get rid of DIY hires, and then is it DIE people? I don't know what it is. Anyway, but they get rid of those. They get rid of those type of hires. And that's one thing, right? If Kamala wins, if the Democrats win, there will be a war. There will be a civil war because the people that support Trump and are feeding into
his lies,
feeding into his rhetoric and are being incited by his words, they are going to fight on his behalf and say that the election was stolen.
We could probably say it was rigged.
Okay. So those are the things that I need you guys to pay attention to. I definitely need you guys to pay attention to the news. Outside of the electoral news, please pay attention to what's going on in our economy, what's going on with the weather, what's going on in our communities. Things are happening while we're busy focusing on celebrities and their improprieties. And right before our eyes, our entire world is shifting. Now, let's shift to a happier place.
Let's go.
October 5th, 2024 will be the first time that I will be covering Kitty's Carnival. And I've heard people say, people of non-Caribbean descent, right? They are against Carnival and the production of Carnival because they think that it's hypersexualized. And unfortunately, the people that do cover it are often people that are not a part of the culture, that are second generation, third generation, or Americans covering the culture. And yeah, it's downright disgusting the way that they cover it. I'm not gonna lie. Me as a Caribbean person and me as a person that actually does video production, I'm disgusted by the way they portray the culture on these platforms. And that's one thing is because they don't understand the relevance of the culture in reference to the history and origins of it. So if you don't understand something from its origins, you're always going to bastardize it and sensationalize it. Look at hip hop as a culture. We have gotten so far away from the origins of the music that I can't even recognize it anymore. Like listening to music now listening to hip hop music now leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And one of the things that I want to cover and explore during this process is the balancing act between culture and opportunity. Because the majority of people that are participating, the children, they are American born. So they've never stepped foot on any island, for the most part, or seen any sign, or played in any beach. They only know that their people are from the Caribbean. And this is their opportunity to have an immersive experience in that culture. So through food, music, dance, and participation, they learn about their history. I think that one of the struggles of it all is actually sharing the culture and the history, sharing the history behind this cultural ritual. Why would you go and participate in something and you don't know anything about it? Babe,
Yes.
what is carnival?
And a joyful an event that is very enjoyable.
So my husband is a second generation Caribbean person, right?
Yes.
And he's been working carnival for
10 plus years.
right. And that is his answer. That is not what carnival is. Anything that you see me doing with carnival is a passion project. That's something that I'm passionate about because I have a child that was born in New York City. She lived in the Bahamas with my mother for about 3 to 4 years. I was in a contract with a radio station and TV station and had to complete my commitment to them. My daughter didn't want, after my mother passed, my daughter didn't want to live in the Bahamas. My daughter is very much like me. She made a statement and I was like, I can't believe it. I had a conversation with my sister at the time. And I had no idea that my sister wasn't for me, but she was my sister. So I had a conversation with my sister and she was like, well, send her to me. And I was like, I don't really want her to be nowhere. But she was like, well, if she's not going to go, she's just like you. And so I said, okay, no problem. I sent my black child to my black sister, who is second generation Caribbean person. And upon receiving my child, almost instantaneously, she took my black child to a speech therapist to erase her accent because she said that it was not palatable in American culture. So when I do these things, it's about understanding the value of culture. Because if you don't understand who you are, if you don't know where you came from, you will forever be affected and feel inadequate in other spaces. That in itself is cultural abuse. What they did to my daughter is irreparable. Listen, I didn't know and I had no idea. These things affect children in so many different ways. So it's my job as a communication specialist to communicate the importance of our culture, not only Caribbean, but our American culture, the hip hop culture, the subcultures that derive from Caribbean roots. It's important that we have conversation about who we are, where we came from, and what we establish as a collective. So don't think that it's funny. It's not funny. This is this is the difference between being represented and being ridiculed. And right now, when we talk about urban and Caribbean culture, people are ridiculing us because they find us a joke. And I don't know about the Caribbean culture, but definitely American cultures, like they have a whole thing about the ratchets. Like, what the fuck is that? That is not what we are. But we portray ourselves in that way because we don't know who we are and where we came from. So, Saturday, October 5th, we're going to be covering Caribbean Kitty Carnival for the first time as we get ready for Miami Carnival's 40th anniversary and celebration of Carnival in the Southeast region of the United States. Babe,
Yes, my love.
do you want to share anything about your experience with Carnival over the last decade?
My experience is different compared to everybody else because I'm mostly with the music. So, with me, my journey starts the week before, like right before Kenny Carnival. That's when we start loading speakers, getting ready, doing a diagram for the truck, trying to figure out where we're going to place speakers and all that. So with me, it's a whole different atmosphere and a whole lot more sleepless nights where I might be getting an hour's sleep here. And sometimes Thursday before Carnival, Friday, we're not sleeping. So Saturday morning, we're looking like zombies. So my experience is way different compared to everybody else.
So, how do you identify with Carnival from a cultural perspective? Because I understand you doing the sound and all of that, but why did you even get involved with Carnival? Like, was there some type of, deeper reason for being a part of it, or you just wanted to make money?
No, for me it was learning a little bit more about about my Bahamian side. Trying to learn that, and it happened to fell in my lap.
Okay.
So
Now, as a kid, how did your mother? Well, how did your mother share her heritage with you? Like,
the way I found out about my Bahamian side was I didn't know none of my aunts and uncles over in the Bahamas.
really?
I didn't know them. When we got back from England in '86, in '88, that's when we started going to the Bahamas.
So basically, it was basically an exchange program, so to speak. You went over there, you learned about it, you got a chance to walk on the sands and play in the waters,
Play with my
eat the
cousins,
food.
eat my food, play
Right.
with my cousins.
What do you think was the most eye-opening part of those experiences?
For me,
Yes.
it was funny. My eye had oh, Lord have mercy. My aunt trying to teach me how to drive on the opposite side of the road.
That?
Yeah. And I was
Okay.
too scared. She tried to teach me that at like 12, 13.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, like I said, we are going to discuss, cover, and explore the balancing act between culture and opportunity. So you guys make sure you get inside the festival with us right here on Playmass.today.
Hopefully, y'all get to see the process of us doing the truck. That's up to you, babe. So
So you guys stay tuned. Like I said, this has been Being Africa Out Loud. This is season 29, episode 1. And we have an exciting ride for you.
Long one.